Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing on the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one was sent in by Aristodemos. He's currently playing under the name A Potato Wizard, or is it The Potato Wizard? Either way, Potato Wizard? I mean, he's a character, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, this is a bit insane. I've never seen two such elite armies clashing before, like ever. It's very fun. So here, the cheapest things on the field are these Marauder Horsemen. There's 3 of them, and they're very good for whittling down flyers, you know, chasing a Lariel around, that kind of thing. And they can get some alright damage in. They're also a bit of a nuisance. It's good to have a nuisance, especially we've got such a crazy elite army. So, starting from this end, chosen with great weapons. Chosen with great weapons, chosen with great weapons, chosen with great weapons, and chosen with halberds. It's all chosen. This is terrifying. I mean, let's look at their stats quickly. So, 48 and 46 melee attack and defense. These guys, 36, but with a big anti-large bonus, and 54 melee defense. 120 armor across the board. Just ludicrously good units. They are very scary. Very, very scary. Also, an exalted hero. So I guess this is just a chosen with a horse, really. He's pretty majestic on his horse, and he has the Hellfire sword, which is pretty cool. So add some combat stats there. Not a huge amount of armor piercing, but you don't need it against a lot of the lords and heroes and things from the High Elves. So he's still going to be very good for helping assassinate things, along with his buddy Archaon here. So Archaon here is, well, he's deadly, isn't he? He's Archaon. Great magic user, great in combat, really high melee defense, and he gets a lot higher when he's got Stand or Die or Cascading Fire Cloak procced. A lot of things tend to have physical resist, so Flaming Sword of Ruin is going to help, and he's got a Fireball, which, it just does so much armor piercing. It's great. I mean, it says weak against armor, but I kind of see that as a lie. Certainly if you overcast it, it'll shred through armor, but even then, against armored infantry, it's really good. It doesn't do a huge amount against things like, you know, like armored heroes and stuff, unless you overcast it. But it's got great penetration. It'll just go through the entire unit, which is really cool. So, it's pretty impressive. I love this. This setup is insane. Now, as opponent, I also love this army. It's madness. He's got 2 Handmaidens of the Everqueen, so good anti-large. You know, magic and fire, which don't really need, but still. Good armor-piercing missile damage, and they're very mobile on the horses. Also, he's got a Lariel, the Radiant, so mad healing, especially useful if you have a crazy elite army, which, yeah, we're getting to. Also, a Flamespire Phoenix. So, good armor piercing there. Those bombard attacks can be very handy, especially against a force that can barely move. I mean, these guys are so slow. 28 speed, it's pathetic. So, they're going to get bombarded a lot by the Phoenix here, I'm sure. So, very, very handy. So, you know, a Lariel, great selection of spells. Obviously, you've got the Heart of Avalon, which is Star of Avalon, which is great for healing up elite units. You know, when you're in the thick of things. You know, her herself and the Phoenix, the 2 Handmaidens, they can all dive on a target, use the Star of Avalon, and they're going to be able to kill anything. Nothing will be able to damage a lot of them quick enough, you know? So, very scary. Also, Fire's Protection, brilliant to add extra armor and melee defense to units. The armor, not going to help too much against an almost entirely armor-piercing army, but that melee defense will really help, you know, stop from getting hit to begin with. And against such an elite army, such as All Chosen, you're going to hit your healing cap if you just rely on healing. You know, you want to make sure you're not getting hit so you can make the, you know, the best use of the healing. That's something that I don't always see taken into account. Sure, you can go all in with the healing, but if stuff is still taking a ton of damage, it'll die. It'll hit that healing cap super quickly and die. So, yeah, melee defense is how you stop that from happening. You know, if they don't get damaged in the first place, beautiful. So, Load the Sea Guard. Load the Sea Guard, good pick, just to help screen things like the Marauder Horsemen. Because with such an elite army, if it was all Marauder Horsemen, they're just going to get killed from a distance, you know, and that would be awful. So Load the Sea Guard, great defense against that. There's also some Phoenix Guard, so elite anti-large, but they're not going to do so well against the great weapons. You know, they're just too specialized to go toe-to-toe with other elite infantry that aren't so specialized, you know. So that's really bad. And the physical resist really helps them, but with Flaming Sword of Ruin, with such a tiny army, a Flaming Sword of Ruin is basically going to hit everything you're fighting. So it's going to make it very difficult for the Phoenix Guard. Here, there's also the Scions of Mathalan, bestowing even more fun stats. Let's have a quick look. So here, damage resistance. So can't be negated, right? It's not physical resistance, damage resistance. So that'll shrug off all damage. It's a ward save, which is really good, provided that mana is higher than 50%. So yeah, keep an eye on your mana. That's going to be nice to shrug off damage. Really useful there. Really useful. Also here, God, this is hard to see in all the trees. Swordmasters of Hoeth. These are the guys you need. These are the ones you need to keep alive at all costs. These will be the ones to kill all the Chosen, right? You gotta keep these guys healthy. They are the best tool against them. So, yeah, keep them going. Also here, Treekin. Interesting. Cool to have. Good to, you know, shrug off some damage and things, but when you're probably going against Law of Fire, it's very dangerous, because they have physical resistance, and they're weak to fire. Flaming Sword of Ruin will ignore the physical resistance, and have fire attacks. That's bad. Also here, Keepers of the Flame. Very cool choice. These guys a bit more elite than the other Phoenix Guard, so against sort of Chosen, they should hold their own a bit, especially when they explode and take out some of them with them. So they're not bad. Definitely great if they were a load of chaos, like, you know, Shaggoths and things. You know, these guys would do fantastic. But it's not. It's all Chosen. It's all Chosen. So they're going to struggle a bit too. But they are super elite. So we will see. So, speeding things up. A lot of units being probed here. Javelins doing wonderful work against the Handmaidens, because the Handmaidens do not have a lot of armor. They don't have much armor at all. So here you can see Lariel and the Flamespire Phoenix terrifying away the Horsemen. Fine. I mean, they're quite cheap. I'd say half a Handmaiden is worth the price. Here, though, Exalted Hero and Archaon are moving up too, which is bold considering all of this stuff they're up against. There are Chosen with great weapons coming to support, but it's going to take them about a week to get over here. So, you know. So here you can see one of the Handmaidens has been charged, and now that it's caught out by this cavalry, the Exalted Hero can get in here. Archaon can get in here. It's going to be very difficult for the Handmaiden to escape this. It's going to be very difficult indeed. And with the huge weapon strength of Archaon and the Exalted Hero combined, that Handmaiden is kind of doomed. You know, that melee defense definitely helps, but yeah, that's a bad thing to lose that early. Shattered already. That is brutal. That is brutal. And these Marauder Horsemen are still going, and they're going to keep throwing javelins at this stuff. Trying to get one cheeky bombard on them, but I think the bombards definitely want to keep them for all the Chosen. Definitely. So, here you can see the Loathed Sea Guard taking some javelins. They're going to try and shoot back. It's just going to be yo-yoing. These guys are a nuisance, and because there's only one unit of archers and several units of Marauder Horsemen, they can keep coming in from different directions. It's going to be very difficult. Of course, there is the Handmaiden, but she's on half health too. So, that's not great. It's not great. It was the healthy one that got caught out and murdered. The other one that takes some damage. But here, this is crafty. So, Archaon looked like he was going for the Handmaiden, so the Handmaiden ran away. He wasn't going for the Handmaiden at all. This is amazing move here. He's actually lining up a beautiful fireball on the Keeper of the Flame. So it goes straight down the line. Look at that. Third of their health gone. Killed a ton of their models. They're down to 56 models from that one fireball. They're supposed to have 75. So that's kind of insane. Just 9 of them dead straight away. That's 9 less that can explode, you know, on your own infantry and do damage in kind, and that's one huge step towards them losing their martial prowess, which will really help the frontline engagement, which I believe is about to start. I'm going to tick this. I'm going to tick this hide foliage, because I don't want to hold spacebar for the entire battle. Anyway, units probing around all directions, but here, Chosen with great weapons, these Phoenix Guard are going to have a really tough time, and there's another spare unit that can come around. That's tough. Here, though, the Swordmasters, they're going to do great. They're going to do great in this fight. They just need to keep getting healed. Fast protection right now would be amazing to keep them in the fight. Over here, you can see the Keepers of the Flame. They're being attacked by the Exalted Hero. The Exalted Hero doesn't really want to be fighting elite anti-large. And the Handmaiden's coming in here as well. So more anti-large, but she's got backup of the Keepers of the Flame now. So over here, some bombards happening. And Swordmaster's still not getting healed. There's the Flaming Sword of Ruin. There are halberds in here. So anti-large, magic damage, and fire damage against Treekin. Treekin are going to just get completely ruined. They're going to get completely ruined. There they go. Any second now. Anyway, Marauder Horsemen charging to the back line just to be a pain. These Phoenix Guard, you can see they're pretty much totally sandwiched. So they're out. They're done. So some bombards on the front line definitely helps to whittle them down. And this Exalted Hero has been caught out. So that is very good news for Avalon here. So he's been terrified, not immune psychology of course, and this goon squad of all these flyers and the Handmaiden, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him to get out of there. And here, this is still a little bit awkward, I must say. The Chosen, you know, they're doing great against these Keepers of the Flame, but the Keepers of the Flame are holding in there. With all this extra support, these Chosen are going to take a lot of damage. So back here, you can see Swordmaster Hoeth, they are taking too much damage. I'm not seeing any good defensive spells used on them at the moment. They need that. These are the one thing that is going to kill all these Chosen if they're given the chance. But if they die because they're not getting the healing in, you know, they're not getting those defensive buffs, things like Fire's Protection. An overcast Fire's Protection on this group would have been amazing just to keep all these guys in the fight. But that hasn't happened, so the Swordmasters are struggling. Over here, you can see the Chosen. They're getting really bullied, but they are still fighting, and they are still doing a tremendous amount of damage. These Keepers of the Flame, they've only had 18 kills, and they have suffered horrible losses. Horrible losses indeed. Swordmaster, though, 42 kills, which is more than the Chosen they're fighting. So that's brilliant. They're doing great. And there's Fast Protection. There it is. There it is, finally. But they've already lost martial prowess. You want to keep them healthy. You can't let them lose martial prowess before you keep, you know, put those buffs on. You want to get them in as soon as the engagement starts so they can get the numbers advantage, start killing a load of the Chosen before they lose any models, and they can hang on to that martial prowess a lot longer. Without it, they're going to take damage very quickly, and you don't want that. They need to be killing. That is the biggest thing, I think, with this replay, is those Swordmasters need all the health and all the help they can get if they're going to stay here and wipe this stuff out. So here you can see the Signs of Mathland totally surrounded. I'm amazed they're holding out as long as they are. There's some more healing, which is good, but I still think a little bit too late there. A little bit too late. Archaon's just running around, having a whale of a time. There are some Keepers of the Flame loitering with the Loathed Sea Guard that are firing in. Loathed Sea Guard actually got 39 kills, which isn't bad. Over here, the Javelins are bothering this Handmaiden. Definitely worth just chasing her a bit, keep her from shooting at a target she wants to be shooting at. And here you can see more bombards. It's going to do some good damage to these Chosen. They're very compacted in here, and it will add up. See? Not bad. Not bad for one hit. So you see he's pacing it out. He's not just going bang, 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 because it's going to knock stuff out of the way in the next volley. So he's making sure to spread out this damage, make as much use of it as possible, which is definitely wise. And now they're jumping over here to try and deal with these Marauder Horsemen and the Chosen as well. So another little bombard to whittle down the Chosen, and hopefully he can take these guys out. Archaon is trying to push out here, but I think that might be a bit of a mistake. You do know what Archaon caught out on his own. You know, he's done some great work so far. It's easy to get cocky, but I'm not sure it's a good idea. Earthblood on a load of these guys now. These Swordmasters, they are still in the fight, despite everything I've said, basically. The Chosen are really injured at this point. You know, everyone's exhausted, so it's very difficult for either of them to really get any damage in. So the Swordmasters, they're very hurt, but they are still getting kills. They're on 70 now, compared to the 59 of the Chosen they're fighting. So they're definitely winning, but there's just so much more Chosen that have to be polished off. These Signs of Mathland, I'm amazed they're still alive. I mean, that 51 melee defense is certainly helping, but it's kind of ludicrous how they're still going. I'm very impressed by the Signs of Mathland here. Very impressed indeed. So here, Chosen, they're getting chased by the Treekin right now. I think they could do alright against the Treekin. Flaming Sword of Ruin would certainly help. And is that one of them? Nope, that is another Earthblood. That is another Earthblood. But it looks like, yeah, the Swordmasters are finally routed. That is a real pity. But everything is diving in here, trying to deal with Archaon, and he is suddenly taking a staggering amount of hurt. But that Flaming Sword of Ruin is going to keep all of these guys, you know, doing some pretty substantial damage. Alariel with a magic, you know, with a physical resist, ignore that. Handmaiden with a physical resist, ignore that. The Phoenix with his magical resist, ignore that. But he does have that fire resistance, so I wonder if it's actually helping or not against the Phoenix. I do wonder that. I can't do the maths off the top of my head, honestly. So here we go. Everything is getting stuck in, and suddenly the Chosen are looking a little less formidable. Archaon is really starting to struggle, but that Cascading Fire Cloak is going to keep him going a long time. And here's that Heart of Avalon. Here it is. Sorry, Star of Avalon. Definitely helping keep these guys in the fight. I mean, yeah, when you look at the Handmaiden, she's almost at a healing cap. But still, it's going to keep the Phoenix and Alariel fighting here. It's going to allow them to sit here and keep fighting Archaon, who is really injured. Because you're going to have to break the leadership if you're going to win this. You can't have Archaon, you know, hitting these guys with things like Cascading Fire Cloak, or himself. And his own weapon strength is enough to just decimate any of this stuff one-on-one. So he's got to stay alive. He really does. And there's that stand or die for the extra melee defense, but right now they're not fighting anything. So I think it was a bit quick. It was a bit quick to proc that. But it's tough to know. It's tough to know what these flyers are going to do. They might have just pulled out and were about to charge straight back in. So it's impossible to tell. And hell, they might have if he hadn't used stand or die. So maybe the stand or die just gave him some respite. So you see the Chosen with halberds are after the Treekin. Got to have that anti-large. And the rest of the units are trying to deal with the rest of the you know, chaff that is almost dealt with. Archaon here, Cascading Fire Cloak on him. Somehow isn't dead. Somehow 85 health. 85 health. And he's running. He's running. It looks like he's out of there. These guys are taking some pretty big damage. Alariel, you can see a healing cap now. So it's not going to be much more healing she can get out before she starts getting dragged down. Here, though, Chosen did actually get terrified away, so these Treekin are still in the fight. A lot of this stuff is getting terrified. That big knock from leadership from Archaon running away really made a dent on these guys. You know, the Chosen, as elite as they are not immune to psychology, which I know is a serious point of contention for a lot of people that want to see that. But I mean, they didn't in tabletop, did they? So, well, come on. Who cares? So here, Archaon's running back in, which is insane, because he is so nearly dead. 85 health, but another Cascading Fire Cloak. It's going to put his melee defense up to 87. Still, I wouldn't want to be fighting a Phoenix. I would not want to be fighting a Phoenix. And Alariel. How is he still going? He hasn't been hit once yet. He hasn't been hit once. He is still going, getting huge damage into the Phoenixes, and while he is still going, miraculously, it means all these other units can just start hacking into all of the remaining High Elves. I say all the remaining High Elves like there's actually any Elves left. It's just Alariel and this Flamespire Phoenix. All the Elves are gone. Well, Alariel is an elf, don't be pedantic. Archaon's finally dead. But he used Standard Eye just before he left, and everyone's apparently still cool with it. There was a Fast Protection on Alariel, because that's all she's got, really. Healing, she's not going to be able to heal herself up anymore, really. So trying to avoid getting damaged in the first place. That's how you want to play it. But she's nearly broken. The Phoenix is charging in here, getting some good work done with that armor piercing, but Alariel has broken. Oof. Chosen with halberds, nearly taken out. It's just these two units are Chosen that are the real problem. You know, about third health each, leadership is standing pretty high, and Alariel is running. Flamespire Phoenix having taken a lot of damage, an awful lot of damage, but with all of these fancy maneuvers that he's doing, he's getting some good work done. He's getting some good work done. And, yeah, fun Scorched Earth patterns that he's making, which I always appreciate. I always appreciate that. So anyway, Flyers. Only Flyers left, so without units on the ground, yeah, could be tough. Don't want to stick around in the air. You need to get back down. And there's Star of Avalon. I mean, the Phoenix already hit its healing cap, I think. Oh, now it has. And Alariel nearly. But, I mean, if it lets you survive an extra few hits, it's worth trying. So, fair enough. But think how great that would have been if that was used on the Swordmasters earlier. You know, the Swordmasters and the Phoenix Guard and the Treekin and everything in that front line. That would have been really handy. That would have been really handy. Anyway, Alariel super injured, Flamespire Phoenix super injured, but more Chosen are getting terrified away. The halberds are coming back, because Terror's a weird one. There's sort of a cooldown on it. If a unit's terrified, it won't get terrified again for a certain amount of time. So it can usually get back in the fight before it gets terrified again. Because, yeah, they don't get chased off that far, because they're very good units. They're very slow as well, which is a weird aid for them. The slower the unit, the less distance they travel. So anyway, Alariel's had it. Alariel's had it. Mid animation. It looks like she broke, but the eagle was still up for a scrap. Yeah, need to keep that eagle under control. It's gonna get you killed. Anyway, awesome fight. Thank you, Potato Wizard. And against Funky Monkey. Don't know who Funky Monkey is, but knowing Aristodemos, he's probably skirmishing with a mate of his under another ridiculous alias. Who really knows? But I've never seen two such elite armies clash head to head, and it was beautifully close. Beautifully close. I think Aristodemos did everything right. I think, unfortunately, it was just down to not keeping those Swordmasters alive. I think that was the biggest thing. If those Swordmasters got more magic, you know, they got more preferential treatment early in the fight, I think the Swordmasters would have just wiped all this stuff out. I honestly think that it was so down to the wire. Even another 50 kills from those Swordmasters, and this army would have broken. I mean, it was so close to already. Obviously, the Handmaiden getting caught out very early on, that was another huge loss, especially that early. So I think it was just Aristodemos managed to capitalize on those couple of mistakes, and that was huge. That was absolutely pivotal in this match. But, you know, it happens, guys. It happens. Often, at high level, it's not what you do right, it's just those few things you do wrong that change the outcome of the battle. So, absolutely wonderful to see. And I have not seen any army like this in a long time. Everyone goes so wide these days. You know, that's the meta. Go super wide all the time. So this was a joy. And so thank you for that. Thank you, Potato Wizard. You lunatic. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.